guys, it's Shannon on my way to audit Scientology. Hope they don't know. And Trashy should be there around the same time. This is a train in Chicago, and we're about to cross the Chicago River. I wanted you to see my city. It's a little bleak looking today because it's winter, and it's just a lot of graffiti and stuff. The train is loud, so I won't be surprised if you can't hear me. This shiny building that you see on the right now, it's one that I used to work at. Working in the city, I remember I used to I would commute from the kind of nicer trains, not the L, but the Metro, we call them, and I used to get off the Metro, and you would sort of come off the trains underground at the train station, and then you come up, and I would walk along Wacker, just walk along the Chicago River with my, with all the people feeding the pigeons and eating outside when it's nice outside, and and when the weather was nice, which is, I don't know, maybe 6 months out of the year, I would just smile all the way to my office. I just loved it so much, and those memories of loving Chicago are really precious, and I still love Chicago. It's just that I don't get into this part of the city as much anymore. This is what we call the Loop, which is why the L is named the L. So our transportation system here is called the L. The commuter trains, they go around the city, the downtown commercial area of the city in a loop. And so that's why we call two things. It's elevated, so it's called the L because of that. And then the loop, we call the downtown area the Loop because the L goes in a loop around the commercial area. But you can see, of course, we have the typical huge buildings. The thing about Chicago is the commercial area. It's kind of like San Francisco in the sense that the commercial area is all condensed in this one sort of relatively small area right on the lake. And then all the neighborhoods, which are very, it's becoming less so, but it's a lot less so, actually. But they used to be broken up by ethnicity. And so, you would have, and New York is like this, and Boston even more. I think Boston's probably the most similar city to Chicago in my mind, because it has same thing, it has the Southies on the south side, and here, like the south and west sides of Chicago are thought of as the highest crime. But we have these little exclusive neighborhoods. You go in one neighborhood and you might be walking around all enemies that you don't even know are your enemies. And then you cross a couple of blocks and now you're with your people. It'd be Italians, Ukrainians, Polish, of course, blacks, whites, all segregated. Very segregated by ethnicity here. But again, it's changing, and the sad thing is that it seems like the trend is toward gentrification, where these really amazing cultural hubs are sort of being taken over by, the people we used to refer to as yuppies, and now you might call them hipsters or, professionals. Not necessarily Caucasian. There are plenty of Asian, Hispanic, African American, white, whatever Caucasian means, I don't even know. But it's more of a class division now than it is ethnicity. Anyway, we're going north from the Loop. You can see we're losing the big, high rises and coming into the neighborhoods. The big buildings are churches usually, and then there are little bungalows and courtyard buildings for apartments. Lots of brownstone and gray stone here because that's the color of the rock that comes out of the quarries. And the architecture is exactly what you're seeing. I mean, exactly what you're seeing. It's so different from, say, a European city. The architecture is relatively simple. But look at these little bungalows. I love these neighborhoods. Some of them are just amazing. And so so the Brown Line goes from the Loop north, and we're going to a street called Wellington. That's where you get off to walk about a mile to Lincoln, where Wellington and Lincoln intersect, and on that corner is the Scientology building. I'm sure this video is not going to be for everybody, but people maybe who used to live here or who've always wanted to see it. You know, I used to follow a YouTube channel that was hosted by a Canadian guy, and Chicago gets such a bad rap, not just among our, you know, other Americans, but I mean, we have a bad reputation in other countries too. And this Canadian guy used to say, you know, I'm coming to visit America, but I'm not, you know, the States, but I'm definitely not going to Chicago. There's no way I'm going to Chicago. And it's really,
doors closed.
you know, that's only a small portion of the population here. And there's so much cultural richness and I don't know, Midwest fortitude here that I still really appreciate in some ways. So we're getting close actually to where we're going. We're on the border. The Scientology building is like on the border of Lincoln Park and Lakeview. They call it, you know, they'll refer to it as East Lakeview. So it's considered a very safe neighborhood. You know, it used to be a very LGBTQ kind of neighborhood. Still is in many ways. You can see the schools and this looks like a golf range. A little crummy golf range. And sometimes dog parks, you know, and this looks like a community garden maybe. Yep. I just love this kind of stuff, and you'll see when I'll bring you guys down here in the spring, in the summer, in the spring when everything starts to bloom, and pretty soon all these trees are covered with lush green, and the grass, it's like magic. The grass turns green. It's so green here. That is one thing that's different from the West Coast for sure. This is not an arid climate. This is more like New Orleans. It's very, very humid in the summer, and we get lots and lots of rain in the spring, and it's very green and beautiful. So, and when the flowers start to bloom and the flowering trees bloom, there's very few cities as gorgeous as Chicago in my mind. Anyway, that is my very skewed perspective on the train ride to the yucky Scientology building, which honestly, it really is a dark cloud. I'm going to try to get today some of the people that we've been talking to off camera from the neighborhood to talk on camera about how they feel about that building being there. It's a dark cloud. It's got bad juju. And yeah, so that's it for now. We'll see you soon.